wanting to do questions and answers, if anyone wants to contribute on achievements in their respective spaces, just nudge or indicate to the EA. There's no formal agenda, but one people that anyone wants to contribute on the achievements they want to that will be the question. Okay, cool.
All right, cool. Media colleagues, thank you very much for honoring our invite and coming to cover us to give you our service delivery highlights for the year. Our coalition has got some challenges, but it's been stable. There was no collapse in Tshwane, so there's a good story to tell. And the executive mayor accompanied by the MNCs and the speaker are here to answer questions after the EM has delivered the main address. And then we have Q&A. The MNCs are available to answer questions that you may have from the various portfolios, So thank you very much. Ian, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Sipho. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. I would like to start by acknowledging the Speaker, Chief Whip, and members of the Mayoral Committee here today. I also want to thank members of the media for honouring our invite. The intention behind today's briefing is to highlight some of the service delivery progress that we have made since coming into office. I am going to provide an overview on a number of matters, and then we can open up for questions and engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now been a year since we formed our multi-party coalition government following the results of the November 2021 local government elections. Given the unstable nature of coalitions in our country, I'm pleased that in the City of Tshwane we have been able to work together and reach a year without the coalition collapsing. A stable coalition government is critical. If we are to successfully govern a large metropolitan municipality like the City of Tshwane. As you may know, our coalition government consists of the Democratic Alliance, Action SA, Freedom Front Plus, African Christian Democratic Party, Inkatha Freedom Party, and Congress of the People. We came together based on our common principles and commitment to drive service delivery and stabilize the city's precarious financial position. The six of us together, we have a majority coalition government, which gives us the advantage of being able to vote as a solid bloc in council. This is what sets the City of Tshwane apart from the other Gauteng coalition governments. The coalition partners here in Tshwane have a majority, meaning if we continue to work together, there will be no need for so-called kingmakers. At a local level, as coalition partners, we work well together with mutual respect. In my role as Executive Mayor, I have good working relations with all MMCs, including the DA, Action SA, and Freedom Front Plus. Further to that, you would have seen that we have secured a proper working council by preventing any physical disruptions in the council chamber through the use of virtual meetings. In the 12 months that we have been in office, we intentionally put the interests of Tshwane residents as a top priority by identifying 10 strategic focus areas to develop the city and fast-track service delivery. The first one is prioritization of the electrical grid and water infrastructure. Secondly, provide stringent financial management and oversight. Thirdly, a business-friendly city that promotes employment and economic growth. Fourthly, enhancing city safety, security and emergency services. Fifthly, maintaining a clean and protected natural environment. Sixthly, maintenance and expansion of road infrastructure and public transportation. 7, a caring city that supports the vulnerable and provides social relief. 8, modernize and digitization of city processes. 9, a professional public service that drives accountability and transparency, and 10, creating a healthy and vibrant city. Along with the top strategic plans, core basic service delivery has been a priority for our coalition government. We strongly believe that visible service delivery of day-to-day operations is important. These core basic services include cutting grass, patching potholes, repairing water leaks, and fixing street lights. During our 12 months in office, we have cut over 183 million square meters of grass, and we have repaired over 75,000 potholes. We also repaired about 60,000 street lights. Our water and sewerage teams have also been hard at work. We have repaired about 46,000 water leaks, and over 23,000 sewers have been unblocked. Our coalition government is committed to maintaining and refurbishing our critical infrastructure. These are some of our achievements this year. Bronco Spray substation refurbished and upgraded from 20 MVA to 80 MVA substation at a cost of 96 million rands. The Cosmosdal A substation upgraded from 20 MVA to 40 MVA at a cost of 65 million rands. Soshanguve substation upgraded from a 20 MVA to 80 MVA at a cost of 92 million rands. We have also increased access to electricity with a total of 2,588 new electricity connections installed. This means electricity access in the city has increased to 94%. Our coalition government is also working to keep Tshwane's illumination at acceptable levels. In this regard, we've installed 1,589 new street lights, including 2 high masts. We have also prioritized water infrastructure maintenance. For the current financial year, the city allocated 75 million rands for the replacement of worn-out water network pipelines. Through this budget, we have estimated target to replace 18,420 meters of pipe across a series of projects. Areas being worked on include the following: Pretoria North and Dorandia, Mamelodi, Easterus, Greater Sinowil area, Constantia Park and Moroleta Park, Riama Park and Clubview. One of our biggest challenges has been the financial stability of the city, and unfortunately our liquidity problems are going to be with us for a while. The fact remains that we inherited a 4.3 billion rand shortfall from the illegal administrators. Nonetheless, we have been working to turn around the city's finances. Tshwane Yatima was launched, which is our aggressive revenue collection campaign, where we disconnect defaulting clients. This has helped to challenge the culture of non-payment. Revenue collection improvement. Earlier in the year, our monthly revenue collection averaged around 2.5 billion rands per month, it should be. However, in the last 5 months, this has improved, reaching high collection levels of 3.5 billion rands in some months. The City of Tshwane, in partnership with Messe Frankfurt, South Africa, hosted a successful second edition of Aero South Africa at Wonderboom National Airport. The 3-day general aviation exhibition attracted over 3,500 people with 72 exhibitors. Approximately 16 small and medium-sized businesses and local suppliers benefited directly from the Aero South Africa 2022 trade exhibition as vendors, contractors, and service providers. The city also created a total of 8,420 work opportunities through our public employment program. We also supported 1,818 SMMEs and 211 cooperative businesses. For the year under review, the city attained 7 billion rands worth of investment in the property development sector. A total of 9,868 building plan applications were approved, to the total of 158,905 square meters, and worth a total estimated construction value of 15.9 billion rands. Tshwane further scored a victory at the 2022 International Tourism Film Festival Awards under the Destination Cities category for its film Discover Tshwane, a video showcasing the city's offerings in the leisure, meetings and investment sectors. Recently, our Tshwane Metro Police Department had 2 successful major drug busts, one for an estimated street value of about 700,000, I think it should be. We wrote 700 million, just to tell you, where 11 suspects were arrested. The second drug bust was worth an estimated street value of 500,000, not 500 million again, where 5 suspects were arrested. Overall, TMPD has confiscated illegal drugs such as crystal meth, niobe, cocaine and heroin worth a street value of more than 1.7 million rands. TMPD has also arrested 226 individuals for various drug-related offences. Counterfeit money worth an estimated value of 3.5 million rands was recovered by TMPD. Our teams also seized counterfeit goods worth an estimated value of 2.2 million rands. The seized counterfeit goods included illicit cigarettes, clothing, and other merchandise. A total of 171 new recruits joined TMPD to boost bylaw enforcement, crime prevention, and road policing. The city also relaunched the Hatfield TMPD bicycle unit in Hatfield with 200 new bicycles. Our fire and rescue services responded to 5,496 emergency calls between November of last year and October of this year. The Mamelodi Fire Station is now fully operational and serving various communities in Tshwane. The station is manned by a total of 27 firefighters. A total of 38 new firefighters joined the Fire and Rescue Division. The Department of Environment and Agriculture successfully managed applications for replacement household waste bins. For 2022-23 quarter 1, that is July to September, a total of 6,505 bins were issued. Our Tshwane cleanup campaign, which encourages residents to keep the city clean, is gaining momentum with increasing community and stakeholder support. The city's resorts and nature reserves are buzzing with visitors. A total of 140,678 people visited our facilities in 3 months, generating 5.7 million rands in revenue. The city further distributed 30,000 day-old broiler chicks to support local farming and help emerging farmers to grow their businesses. The city invested 46 million rand to upgrade the Bonacor crusher and asphalt plant to produce our own road building and maintenance materials. This will assist to accelerate pothole repairs and road surfacing or road resurfacing. Next week, we will launch a new state-of-the-art licensing service center at the C. de Wet building. It is estimated that the new center will serve close to 350 customers per day and benefit residents of the inner city and surrounding areas. 4 public transport facilities were fully refurbished namely Roslyn Taxi Rank, Mita Ngobeni bus ranks, Dairy Mall Taxi Rank, and key features at Wonderboom Airport. Staying with Wonderboom National Airport, the number of built aircraft movement has increased post-COVID-19 restrictions, leading to revenue of about 20 million rand for the 21-22 financial year. As far as the expanded public works program is concerned, through EPWP recruitment database, the city created over 8,000 job opportunities selected from our database, which remains open to job seekers to submit their applications. As always, we have maintained our lottery system to ensure we recruit fairly across all communities. Our food bank program was allocated 4.8 million rand for the 22-23 financial year to provide relief to qualifying destitute families and non-governmental organizations. Annually, the food bank supports more than 15,000 families and 24 non-governmental organizations, who in turn accommodate and assist homeless people with food relief. The city is continuing with the indigent program that's designed to assist residents who are unable to pay for municipal services and serves as a vehicle to fight poverty. The city is currently supporting over 4,000 households through this program. A total of 25,266 new books have been distributed in the city's public libraries. At least 3,995 of the books are from local authors. Furthermore, the Pildi Stadium was officially graded and certified as a Class 1 athletics facility by World Athletics, formerly known as the International Association of Athletics Federations. This certification means that Pildi Stadium can host international and national athletics events. The Marabastad Townland Social Housing Project has approved 691 beneficiaries for occupation before the end of the calendar year. Once concluded, this will be the biggest social housing project in the country. We are now at the point where second round of applications will be launched from the 5th to 9th of December of this year. Two other social housing projects in the pipeline, namely Chantal Social Housing Project, which will consist of 1,098 mixed rental units, and Timberlands with 607 are also planned units. Chantal Social Housing Project construction has already begun. The city is also continuing with our program to issue title deeds and affirm property rights of beneficiaries. This year, we've issued a total of 3,228 title deeds. Our multi-party coalition government remains committed to moving with the times, expanding our services online. Automation of land development applications, building plans, and other building control processes are progressing well. Our eTshwane WhatsApp chat service has been completed, and to date it is now available on 087 153 1001. You can always get the printed copy to get the number. I doubt you will remember it. Customers can now make payments through this platform. New channel for customers to raise queries and complaints through the eTshwane platform is active. Since going live in December last year, a total of 19,578 queries were submitted through the eTshwane platform. Our new eHealth integrated health information management system is at the pilot stage. The system will make it easy for healthcare officials to access to digitized records, improve management of queues in clinics, and better management of stock items in our pharmacies. The city has also successfully defleeted and matched 680 vehicles, amounting to the savings of over 11 million rand in expensive leasing as we move towards owning our own vehicles. Improving health services. City of Tshwane public healthcare clinics were assessed by a multi-stakeholder peer review team. All 24 clinics sustained the ideal clinic standards rating and achieved a 100% platinum status for all the city managed health facilities. FF Ribeiro Clinic, linked to Sammy Mark's council chambers vaccination site, is in the top 10 best performing vaccination sites in Gauteng province for the period 1st of July last year till 30th of June this year. Progress on the construction of Lusaka Clinic in Mamelodi is going very well at 80% completion. The project is earmarked for completion by July 2023 and will play a key role in expanding access to health in the area. As I conclude, I want to thank our MMCs for their hard work together with the city officials. We will ensure that we continuously improve so that we can deliver quality services to all residents. We are happy now as a team to take any questions. No hard questions, please. Thank you once again for joining today.
All right, that was quite a comprehensive update. We will issue the statement for more details and some of the corrections that we probably asked during live cameras. So yeah, the floor is open and you can ask your name, organization, and your question.
This is Rapula Mate from the City. I see the absence of FNSA MMCs in the report or the yellow report that you have just presented. How was their contribution? Were they part of it? And then how would you describe your relationship with them?
Thank you. Anyone wants to follow up? Go ahead.
Masha Flow from Jacaranda FM. You've listed quite a lot of service delivery development. Congratulations to you. But we did have a protest, or a demonstration over the weekend that was led by the ANC in Tshwane, in which service delivery issues were highlighted, the potholes, sewage systems, and we've seen such complaints come up in the motions of no confidence that were advanced in the city of Ekurhuleni and in the city of Johannesburg. You're not concerned that this may be your fate as well? And just to speak to some of the issues that were raised during that demonstration with regards to service delivery versus the report that you've just given.
Great. This one? Okay. Liam, and then you can settle these two questions, and we'll see if we'll follow up with that.
Okay, the first one about Action SA. Well, Action SA is certainly very much part of the team. They hold very, very important portfolios. The one is housing, and I've told you about our projects, the Townlands in Marabastad, Chantal, and so forth. And these are progressing well. So they're playing a very, very important role in the 10-point plan that we've set out. Now, if you look at the other portfolios as well, MMC Leroux, and also in housing, as you would know, there's a new MMC now. He's still finding his feet. He was just appointed last week, so he's got to learn his new portfolio because Action SA has changed them because the previous MMC is no longer a member of Action SA. So there's a new person in the portfolio, and there's a lot for him to catch up with. because a lot of programs have been unrolling for the past year that we've been in office as a coalition government. And also, if you look at the other parts of the program, economic development and spatial planning, we've just said now about how we're upgrading our systems, the development application management system, the amount of building plans that have been approved to the value of over 15 billion rands. These are important portfolios in the coalition government. So certainly they play a very, very big role. The Poldi Stadium that has been upgraded falls under Peggy de Bruin, who's also the other MMC for AXA. Well, that comes from AXA SA. So all their portfolios, it's an important part of our work plan for the city. As far as the demonstration is concerned, well, as you would have seen, the demonstration has been led by the ANC. It's politically driven. They supplied the buses. They went to their branches to get people to come. I don't even know if all the people are from Tshwane only. I don't know. They've been busing in people from everywhere. Certainly when we took over the city was in a great mess already in 2016. The issue of Hammanskraal started already in 1996. It was constantly reported in council. The ANC ignored it, and now they want to come in as if they're the saviors. They are not the saviors. They're responsible for the current mess. Things that we are maintaining and repairing now is because it was never maintained, never repaired. I can give you the substation, the important substation, Bonakog, that's been responsible to the north of Wonderboom Airport for numerous outages. The substation was commissioned in 1939. The National Party never maintained it. The ANC never maintained it. But we refurbished it. Took us 3 years. Now you don't have the type of outages you used to have. So someone who's been responsible for this mess can't come in now as the savior. If they should ever come into office, they will continue to create a mess.
Perhaps a follow-up question. I'm trying to figure out whether they were invited to this briefing, the NRC coalition, and why are they not here?
And the MMC LaRue is sick. You offered an apology only with the audience, and MMC Peggy had a different event. So it's not politics. They don't want to
I may just as well add, even my colleague, MMC Rina, is not here because she's engaged elsewhere. We must just take into consideration this time of the year, everybody's trying to wrap up what they can wrap up. So some of the MMCs are also involved in other activities. So we can't set a time that will suit all.
Yeah, I've been this morning with MMC Marks at the substance and drug abuse event in Eersterus, where we went to the provincial clinic and also to a local primary school, and then she had to continue with her program. And unfortunately, we can't suit everybody's time. It's very difficult to get everybody together at the same time when we have all such diverse portfolios, because we work with the communities.
Colleagues, any questions or
Good morning, Mayor. Opposition politics aside, let's focus on the people on the ground. When we speak to Tshwane residents, as journalists on a daily, we hardly get them expressing satisfaction with the administration, in particular when it comes to service delivery. They all express, or let me not say all because we're not reaching all of them, but the majority that we do speak to, they're always complaining about service delivery, whether it be electricity, water, and so forth. They say they are not happy. They're not seeing what you are announcing in the media. How do you respond to that?
If you want to be more specific about what is it that they're not able to do, any area specifically that they will speak to?
Well, there's no area. It's wherever we go, whether it is in Soshanguve. In fact, in Soshanguve,
It's a daily thing where we get calls. It's either they don't have water, they don't have electricity, but it can be across the board.
Yeah, there's been a lot of noise about this 1 billion rand short-term loan recently. I know the council last week they passed a report related to that. What is this money going to be used for? Is it for paying the staff or what? Can you be specific as to what it's going to be used?
I think the finance person, the ministry, City of Tshwane will explain it better. Maybe Ian can take
No, I'll take both, but Peter can add on. Well, certainly, as we have said, the city's got financial problems. That we said over and over. We improving it as we go along. Every month, I see improvements in our financial situation. There are various problems that we're addressing. It's the financial problem. It's a workforce that it hasn't, over the many decades, the way they've designed the workforce is not properly designed for our mandate. You've got very few plumbers. You've got very few electricians. We are top heavy. As they say, too many chiefs and too few Indians to actually do the work. And we need to redesign our workforce so that it fits in with our mandate, so that we have more electricians on the ground. So we face real systemic problems in the city. That's been built up over many, many years. And we need to have a proper workforce in place. We need to have sufficient revenue coming in for us to address all the backlogs. Because this is not about normal maintenance, where you have potholes occurring this financial year, electricity outages this financial year, the substations in terms of a maintenance plan are now due for maintenance this year, and so forth. When I've asked for the maintenance plans of our substations, our mini substations, they told me it doesn't exist. It never existed. That's why things break. Because people don't maintain machinery according to the maintenance schedules that the manufacturers have given with the machinery when the machinery were bought or when it was built in. So now we need to correct things that are systemically wrong in the city. The city has been poorly run for many, many years. And for us to turn it around, it's not going to happen overnight. So yes, there are a lot of electricity outages in Soshanguve. We don't have sufficient teams on the ground to attend to those outages. And when you have, for example, like the past week, where you had lots of rains and stuff, with wind blowing, with trees not being cut, branches hitting electrical wires, causing more outages. So now where you had like normal month, you have 100 outages, now you have 500 outages. You still have the same number of teams. You still have the same number of vehicles. That is what you have to contend with. So it's a continuous backlog that you find yourself. You continuously have to catch up. That is what we're facing in the city. But what I want to see from where I sit, I want to see incremental improvements. Now the residents aren't seeing it, because if there's some kind of improvement in Centurion and you sitting in Soshanguve, you're not seeing it. Or there's some kind of improvement in Mamelodi and you sit in Pretoria North, you're not seeing that. But we follow the data. We work according to data, where we need to see improvements in the data. So it's going to take us some time before everybody in the city will see an improvement in the services. But that is what we're working very hard towards. Now, as far as the 1 billion rand short-term loan is concerned, this is not something new. The city has been incurring short-term loans for many, many decades. But what the MFMA says, that if in a particular year you receive a short-term loan, during that financial year, by the end of the financial year, which is the 30th of June of next year, you have to repay the loan. So all short-term loans have to be repaid by the end of the financial year. So the short-term loan that we received last year, we already repaid before the 30th of June. Now, what do you use the short-term loan? You mostly use it on your operating budget to help you with your liquidity. Because some months you get in more money than other months. So the month where you fall a bit short, you then use your short-term loan to provide liquidity. The next month, when you get more revenue than what you planned for, you then put the money back. So you don't use the whole loan. It is just there to provide liquidity. So it's money that moves in and out of the loan account. And by before the 30th of June, the whole 1 billion rand, you then pay back to the bank. That's how it works. And it's been, this city has been using short-term loans for many, many decades. It is not something new. It's a short-term loan which the ANC has used almost every year when they were governing the city. So they make it appear like it's something new. It's not. Peter.
Thank you. Maybe what I can just add, I think
When
the
MC goes on, can you thank assistants?
Maybe you can
No,
just
they
sit.
can just
Oh,
swap.
you can stop as a swap.
It's easier
Okay.
if they swap
Sorry.
and this table.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. The Executive Mayor, I think, have enclosed exactly what it is. It's to deal with timing differences, a short-term loan. I think in many cases, and I've seen the press statements made by the ANC, and also I received their memorandum on Friday, they're confusing the short-term loan with a long-term loan. A long-term loan would be a case where you use it for capital projects. This is not a long-term loan, it's a short-term loan, and it's purely to deal with short-term or timing differences in collection. The other important point I just want to add to it is the Executive Mayor took a report to Council in May of this year already to inform Council that we're going to repay the short-term loan and we're applying for a new short-term loan. None of the opposition parties then disputed anything about the short-term loan. It's gone through that process. We approved the report in Council. We simply just went through the formalities now. So any speculation that it was a sudden thing or suddenly we wanted to get a short-term loan and nobody knows what it's for is disputed in the fact that a report served in Council in May already to inform Council about the decision of a short-term loan, a continuation of it, as the Executive may have pointed out. In the 12 years that I've been in the City of Tshwane, there's never been a year that where we did not have a short-term loan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for the opportunity. As leader of the Freedom Front Caucus, I just want to revert back to the question regarding service delivery. This is politicking. Why am I saying that? Let's look at service delivery. Eskom, what's happening there? Who's responsible? Local government, national government. SA Post Office, what's left of it? National Health. Let's look at the state of our hospitals, of our healthcare in the country. The rail system in the country, the road system, the e-tolls. Those are all issues created by the ANC. The difference is, in the city, we are doing something to improve. The national government can't show us one thing they have done to improve on the bad service delivery that they have left us with. For 21 years, the ANC was ruling the city. They brought us to a state where this city is in at the moment. And we, as coalition, are in there to make a difference, to take it to the next level, to improve the life of every citizen of this country. So what are they trying to do? That's why they led this protest the other day. They are diverting the attention from their own failures. Thank you, Ian.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if you also want to give a few words as you wrap up the session.
No, don't move them.
I won't touch, promise.
Thanks very much, Executive Mayor, the MMC's coalition partners present here. I think my job is cut out today. This is service delivery highlights, and I think the Executive Mayor has just done a good job with regard to that. But I think from the legislature point of view is that all these things that you hear about have to be approved by council, and my responsibility is to run council. Now, if you look back the whole year, from the legislature point of view, all the necessary elements that make the government run were approved. But the most important highlight that we should amplify is the establishment of ward committees. For the past 2 political terms, the ward committees, which are quite essential and close to service delivery, that is the people themselves, were absent. And we have just approved ward committees, and we are currently rolling them out. And I believe that the current budget adjustment, we just at the advent of it, it's quite imminent. We believe that we'll do what is necessary to ensure that ward committees are capacitated. You would agree with me that it's a coalition government. Other than being a coalition government, the city is comprised of ward councillors that come from different political parties. So it's not so much a political issue. It's about the representation of our people on the ground. So all the respective wards, we're talking of a totality of 107 wards in the city, we shall establish ward committees chaired by ward councillors. I want to believe that the legislature was quite useful in the approval of the 1 billion rand short-term loan. It was the second bite that we had on it because the previous council couldn't. But then last week we approved it. So as the Speaker, I'm quite excited. And I think what is also quite important as a constitutional obligation is to also ensure that as the legislature, we hold the executive accountable. So all these things that you're talking about, we have Section 79 committees that ensure that the executive mayor and his team of MMCs are accountable. So I think that in the year that it wasn't easy. I mean, if you look at the neighboring cities, that is Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, it was quite a challenge, and then governments changed. 1 month is another one. But the City of Tshwane provides somewhat of a blueprint as to exactly what a coalition government should look like. It's not easy, particularly myself as the Speaker. I think you would have recalled that I think 2 weeks or so ago I was under attack in the council chambers, but we ensuring that with all those kind of challenges, the government gets to do what it has to do, and that is approving reports. And I think I'm quite happy with the Speaker under the circumstances that the executive mayor and the team are able to do what they are supposed to be doing. So in a nutshell, and a scope and part of the coalition government, we're quite excited to present the current highlights. And we believe executive mayor and the team that come next year, it's going to be a challenging year, 2023, preluding the 2024 national and provincial elections. We believe that the figures that we just appreciated a while ago will improve, and our residents will have better and increased, if not improved, access to service delivery. I thank you.
Another question?
Okay, so last one question is
Thank you and good afternoon. Just to buttress the EM's points regarding service delivery, recent study has pointed 1977 as the high point of municipal spending, and it's been on a downward trajectory since then. So that gives you an idea of the magnitude of what we're dealing with. And to illustrate that, about a month ago in New Mechelneck, we replaced a pipe that had been installed in 1917. So these are the sorts of issues we're dealing with as a city, decades and decades of neglect and mismanagement that we are now expected to deal with. We have 75 million rand to deal with pipe replacement. To really give credence to the pipe replacement that we need to do, it's going to take us somewhere in the region of 3 to 4 billion rand. And just to speak to Rooiwal, because we know that that's a topical issue that is raised repeatedly. To put Rooiwal into perspective, that should have actually been expanded in 2008. There were plans in 2004 for implementation and completion of an 80 megalitre upgrade in 2008. And a follow-up on that and a further expansion was supposed to be planned for 2014. None of that's happened. So now, as in the previous term and in our current term as the coalition government, we continue to focus on that. So effectively, we've done more as far as Rooiwal is concerned than the previous governments did. And we will continue to push and deal with that. But to deal with Rooiwal and to attend to the upgrades that are required there, not just the completion of the phase 1, but to then deal with phase 2 and phase 3, which are the actual expansions, you're looking at about 3 billion rand. And if you compare that to our capital budget for this financial year, for example, of 2.8 billion rand, it gives you an idea of the quantum of money that is required for us to deal with these issues. But it's not something that we will shy away from, and we will continue to focus on dealing with and providing service delivery to the residents of Tshwane. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm MMC Kingsley Wakeland. I'm the MMC for Corporate and Shared Services. The EMS alluded to our re-looking at our current structure, and I think it's important just to tell the media what we do and what we're doing differently as opposed to the previous government. And it's critical to understand what are the macro issues that we're dealing with. And I think the one thing that's critical for us, as from an HR perspective, looking after our human resources, the issue of performance management. I can with certainty tell you today that Council has approved the performance management system that will look at the complete structure from top to bottom to be on a performance management review. I think that is critical to know. Going forward, we would obviously monitor them. And I think it's also important to understand that we are busy with a process which is called the GTAC process, which allows them to relook at the complete macro structure and also the regional operation service delivery model and how we are going to engage into the future with regards to how we deliver service at the regional level. I think it's also important to note quickly that we also have improved and approved a talent management policy looking at a number of issues, which include job enrichment for our current employees. For those, there are a number of our employees that have studied in different fields that we want to relocate and reallocate them to areas where their passion and expertise are lying. We are also looking at secondments and also ensuring that we have a fit for purpose. So we're really re-looking at our complete structure to ensure that we have a committed, dedicated and happy workforce that will support the citizens of the City of Tshwane. Thank you.
Just to wrap it up, final round,
There have been calls for a budget review to ensure that more funds go to the grassroots majority. Are there any plans to look at this in the new year, next year? I don't know.
The EFF suggested during last week's council that that 1 billion is going to be used for paying salaries. Can you dispel or confirm that association?
Thanks for this. That was enough time.
Okay, I can put that to bed immediately. For the month of November, we had to pay our salaries, not only our salaries, but we also had to pay a 13 check. So in fact, it's double payment. So, and it's not a bonus. Bonuses are normally performance related, but because of bargaining council agreements, we are obligated to pay a 13 check, and that falls due in the month of November. So as you've seen, the loan approval was only passed on Thursday. We're going to effect it this week. Now, salaries were paid on Friday, and the money had to be in the bank before the 20th already. So we fully paid the salaries and the 13 check without any problem. Now, we will probably get the loan money, should probably...
Only about the 3rd or the 4th of December will be available.
Yeah. So next week, it might be available. So definitely, we didn't use it for salaries. So as far as budget review, look, our budget, we look at our priorities. And we've got 7 regions in which we provide services. And we provide all types of services in all 7 regions. That's how we allocate our budget. We don't discriminate as far as budget is concerned. We don't look at the color of residence. We look at the needs assessment. What type of service? When we work in terms of households. We say there's X amount of households in this region. We know region 5 has the least amount of households. So there's a lesser demand for certain type of services. So that's how we implement our budget. And but where we are today is that we continuously have to cut our budget, unfortunately, to bring it in line with our revenue collection. Because at the end of the day, we need to have a fully funded budget. And as we improve our revenue collection, we will increase the amount of services that will be going out continuously. That's how we build up. As I said, we work according to data. We need to balance our books. Like, for example, the EFF has demanded that we should run clinics 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can't afford that. It's not possible with our current budget. Yes, we can look in the future to do it once we've got all the revenue. At the moment, our revenue collection still stands at around 67%. 1/3 of our residents don't pay. We've got numerous illegal connections that we're addressing. So these are the challenges that we need to overcome so that we have a city that will be able to afford to pay for the services that the residents expect and that the residents need. Peter, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I think if I may, please. Thank you very much. There's one aspect that I would like to add on to what the Executive Mayor just explained now. Residents pay for service delivery and they must get service delivery. That's the principle, okay? That's why we issue municipal accounts all over the city, and that's why we need to deliver those services. There's a narrative that's politically trying to be driven by the opposition that some areas get service deliveries and others don't. And that's a fatal lie, and it's not true. And we need to attack that because it's a blatant lie. I'm a ward councillor myself. Daryl Johnson is a ward councillor, and I both think we can confirm that is certainly not the case in the areas where we are. And that's the narrative that's been driven. Now, when we prepare a budget for a city, we don't prepare a budget, and that's what the Executive Mayor just pointed out. We do not discriminate against people. We do not prepare budgets according to wards, according to certain areas, or according to areas where people pay regularly and others don't pay, and then make a decision to say those who don't pay won't get service delivery, those who pay will get service delivery. That's a fatal lie, and that's not the operations of a city. The Systems Act, the Structures Act, the Municipal Finance Management Act makes it very clear. You prepare a budget geographically for an area, okay, and you accommodate people. We know there's a form of redress that needs to happen, and that's what we need to do. But in having said that, and what the Executive Mayor just explained, we depend on people to pay their accounts, and I'm not referring to specific areas, I refer to the city as a whole. When we sit with some areas that feel they're on the border of the municipality, they borderline, on the fringes, and they feel they shouldn't pay property rates because they don't live in the inner city. Or you find people who feel that they won't pay for whatever the reason, whether it's political, whatever the reason might be. It puts a strain on everything. We don't look at it in a specific area, specifically to a specific area. And we do have strain on that. Now, the other part is, our capital budget is completely different. Our capital budget, we get grants and subsidies from national and provincial governments, and they dictate to where we can spend that money most of the time. We do not have a choice where we want to spend it. So again, a fatal lie that we need to attack from the narrative that the ANC and the opposition wants to spread is that we spend capital money in certain areas and others not. It's a fatal lie. Those capital grants and subsidies are dictative where we can spend that money. Those of you who would have picked up, in the previous years, the city used to have a capital budget of close to 4.5 billion. We're now down to 2.8 billion in this financial year, because we do not qualify for a long-term loan for capital funding like we used to do in the past. So that means we're only dependable on the grants and subsidies, and that's dictative of where we can spend it. Now, when the ANC, for instance, in this case, and that's factually what they're saying, we should review the budget so we can spend more money in some of the areas that are underdeveloped. Well, where must we get that money? Because it's only grants and subsidies, and it's already dictative where we can spend that. The over 150 projects that we have in the capital budget is also evident of where we're spending that money to prioritize the people. When it comes to basic service delivery, it's, as I mentioned, it's geographically for the entire city, and people pay for service delivery, and people must get it. And people need to understand, if I don't pay my bill in Centurion, it affects everyone. It doesn't just affect the people in Centurion, it affects the city as a whole. If our operational expenses for service delivery is X amount, we need to generate that, and that needs to come from electricity, water, sanitation, waste collection, property rates. And in closing, that's what national government has pointed out as the problem, is that there's a cross-subsidization between these services. So now people don't pay. Then we need to take from electricity to subsidize water, and from water to subsidize property rates, and etc. And that's where the problem is with local government. So from the highest office to where we are with the executive mayor, the message is the same throughout South Africa. I saw President Ramaphosa making some comments about service delivery and municipal governance over the weekend again. Everybody needs to pay, and we need to stop this cross-subsidization between services. Thank you.
All right, of course, thank you, Nancy, and thank you, legal colleagues. I think that brings this meeting to an end. If you want one-on-one, you can organize it on the site. So thank you for honoring our invite, and we'll send the full highlights to you immediately.
Okay, thank you. And Rapula, be nice.
Everyone is nice, Maya.
Be nice, sir.
Oh, nice, sir. Okay.
Thanks, guys, for coming. If we don't see you again, have a good Christmas.
I'll be here on the 25th of December to receive memorandums. So
I have to pay the council.
we'll